All right, well, welcome everybody to the September Austin DFW and San Antonio TUG. We have a great agenda for you today. And before we get started, we'll give people maybe just another minute to get in, and then we'll get going. Okay, well, again, welcome to everyone. We're ready to start our meeting. My name is Homer Hegedus, and I'm on the your TUG advisory board. Your board, that's me there. Your board are the people that work hard as volunteers to put together this TUG meeting every month. They scour the globe for great speakers and do all the preparation that's required, send out the invites, manage the registrations, record the meetings, set up the surveys, and just keep you informed of everything that is going to be happening. So I appreciate my colleagues very much. They're very dedicated and dependable people, and most of us have been on this board for some time. I know Chris and I have been there at least since the beginning, 82. And Chris is usually your host. He's not available today due to a schedule conflict, so I'm filling in for him. So our meeting agenda today will be familiar to those of you that have attended before. Our feature presentation will be presented by Merlijn Buit, CTO of Infotopics, and also the founder, by the way, got to add that. And he's going to talk about apps for Tableau. So this is the API that allows you to add extensions to your dashboards or whatever else you're building to make it more rich and more animated, and just provide better user experience. And also, as we've done in the past, we will have breakout sessions after our speakers Q&A. And we'll have two rooms today. The first one, we called it in the past show and tell. I'm going to call it Ask Anyone Anything. So it really is a roundtable discussion. We invite you to join there for networking, for sharing anything that you would like to pass on, a tip or trick. Feel free to ask people for advice. If you're having trouble with something, one of your data queries is running really slow and you don't know why, you're having trouble getting your level of detail to work right, there's a lot of experience in those rooms. So tap into that by asking your questions. And then I'll be moderating that room, and then Kobe Sparks will be moderating the next room, which is Apps in Action. And what he'll be doing is showing you some actual implementations of these extensions that Merlyn is going to be talking about. Again, this is not a webinar, it's a live meeting. We encourage you to turn on your camera. But do observe customary Zoom etiquette, that is mute yourself when you're not speaking, particularly when our feature speaker is presenting. And you are free to make any comments with the chat window. You can use the chat feature to select individuals for a private chat, post links, pose questions to the entire audience. But if you have a question for the speaker, we're going to try something new. We're going to ask you that you send that question in a private chat to our co-host, which today is Kobe Sparks. So Kobe will be curating the questions and then presenting them to Merlyn at the end for his response. So if you want to make sure your question is captured by Kobe, you can send it to him in a private message. And there will be 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A after the presentation. We'll try to start the breakout rooms at about 4 o'clock and wrap everything up by 4:30. And after the meeting, we'll send you a link to the recording and a short survey about the meeting in general. And then also there will be a survey we'll ask you to fill out during the meeting and before we go into the breakout rooms. So just a couple announcements. I'm sure many of you know, but in case you don't, the latest release of Tableau is 2021.2.3. It is available for download, so we encourage you to check it out and explore some of the new features. Our next 2 TUG events will be held on October 7th and then following on November 4th. And a special shout out today to our own advisory board member, Bo McCready, who's just recently been accepted as a Tableau public ambassador. So congrats to Bo. It's a very visible position and we congratulate you on that. Lastly, when we do our breakout sessions, and we'll review this again, you just go to where it says the breakout room icon, and which looks like this. And there'll be 2 rooms with these names. And then you have the option to choose the room that you want to join, or you can change rooms at any time. So if I bore you or Kobe does the same, you always have an option. And for networking particularly, let's be friendly, turn on our cameras, and get to know each other. Now, without further ado, let's introduce our featured speaker, Merlijn Buit, who is the CTO and founder of Infotopics. It's an organization that specializes in developing advanced extensions like Show Me More and Super Tables. Merlyn wowed the Tableau community with some games he created in Tableau, such as chess and Mario. And he has a passion for programming, data analytics, and teaching all of us to become better analysts and Tableau users. In his free time, being that he's in the Netherlands, this is no surprise that he likes to cycle and skate. So we're very fortunate and delighted to have Merlyn present to us about Tableau apps, and I will turn the floor over to him now.
Thank you, Homer. I will share my screen and then we will start. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Great. All right, so thank you all so much for joining today. My name is Merlyn. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm a Tableau Zen Master, and I specialize in Tableau APIs. And today I will tell you everything about my favorite API, which is the Tableau Extensions API. We're going to have a great session. I will show you a lot of cool demos, random stuff. And therefore, I also need to give you a little disclaimer because this session will contain lots of demos and there will also be games. So there is a big chance that Tableau will crash. So please don't try it at home or try it at home. So just to start the story, it was a while ago already, but I was watching The Queen's Gambit as a session and I really loved this series on Netflix. And I got back into playing chess with a friend of me. And one day in the weekend, I thought, okay, would it be possible to build a actual chess engine, chess game in Tableau using parameters, visualizations, the extensions API maybe. So I got to work Friday evening. It was 1 o'clock in the night and I got something working. It was a prototype, so I sent it over to Tableau devs. He said, look at this, is this cool? And they said, okay, you need to make it a session, or you need to do something with it. So I finished it, and at Sunday I had a working prototype, and I published it on the web. And I would love to show you it right now, because we are going to play a game of chess here in Tableau today. So let's see. I will change my screen. Here we go. So the first thing we do is we open up the dashboard, and the extension needs to load. And you see that the game is started. It is your turn. It's saying right here. So, well, what will we do? We will start with the Queen's Gambit, of course, and we will play our first pawn. So you can see that Tableau is reacting. It's throwing also a pawn. So let's counterattack that one by throwing another one. And as you also can see, Tableau is thinking. It's also here. So the engine is thinking right now about a new turn. And it's, okay, it's throwing also that. So let's see if we can maybe set it to a check. Let's try it again. And I will get hit. Okay, great. So as you can see, when I got hit, I also lose a pawn. It's right here. It's my one of my pawns, and now I can just keep playing until it's just made, and I lose or Tableau loses. So this has all been built with Tableau worksheets. You can see it on the left here, some parameters, and the most important, the Tableau extensions API. And now you will think, what can you do with this? Well, the most important thing I did with this was learn how this API is working, what I can do with it, how I can reach the edges of Tableau, and see if I can learn new stuff, basically. So I learned a lot from building this. So let's reset the game. And I've shared it. So you can also play this by finding it on my Tableau public account. I will share later. So yeah, just a little demo to get you warm up for this session. So what will I be talking about today? I will tell you about the extensions API, what it is, why you should use APIs in general, and where you can find extensions, and maybe even build your own extension. That's the question mark. So my name is Merlyn. I'm a Tableau Zen Master, and I'm the founder and CTO of Apps for Tableau. And I'm 29 plus 1 years old. I would like to be in the 20s. And I've built 5 games in Tableau now, including Mario, Pac-Man, Tableau Craft, Data Village Online, and of course, chess. In my spare time, as you can see in the pictures, I like to speed skate and teach children how to skate better 2 days in a week. I also won the hackathon in 2019 together with my good friend. And I was also presenting at the Tableau conference last year, actually 2 years ago. So yeah, and in my full-time job, I work at Infotopics Apps for Tableau, where I dedicate my life in building premium extensions like the Show Me More, Picture This, Super Tables extensions. Yeah, so I dedicate my life to building extensions, basically. But what is an extension, and what is the extensions API? Well, the extensions API is a custom dashboard zone that can interact with the rest of your dashboard via the extensions API. So it's something in your dashboard which can communicate with other parts of your dashboard. And to give you some examples of this, you can do things like integrate with third-party APIs in your dashboard, like this custom map engine. You can use third-party charting libraries, like the Show Me More one, to create a very easy Senki. You can use write-back like to modify data, write back to databases, update your dashboard. You can do things like track usage of filters, actions and views of a dashboard. You can export data from a VIS to Excel with an exporting extension. You have all kinds of advanced filter options, button filters, and there's also an extension transforming data into actual clear written text. And you can play games. So there's a lot you can do with extensions. And I think one of the powerful things of extensions is making your life easier and making it better and give you a greater user experience and add value to Tableau. And to give you a cool demo, I'm going to build a Sankey diagram in Tableau in a minute. So it only takes 1 minute to do. And everyone who has built a Sankey diagram before knows that it is not possible to do it in 1 minute. It mostly takes a few hours maybe. And even if you want to make it interactive, it takes a bit more time. So let's show you how I do this. So let's go to my Tableau dashboard. It's right here. And to just show you, this is the example, what we are going to build. We have a Sankey diagram and it's fully interactive. So when I click on any of these activities, you see that my Tableau visuals are filtering. I have tooltips, it's interactive, it's highlighting when I hover. And I can also, from a Tableau worksheet, filter my Sankey diagram. So it's working 2 ways. So from the extension to my dashboard, but also from my dashboard to my extension. And I'm going to recreate this visual in a minute. So whenever you're ready, I will start. So let's see. The first thing we need to do is, let's start. First thing we need to do is create a worksheet which contains the data, like this. We go to the dashboard, we place the worksheet somewhere on our dashboard. Because extensions are dashboard extensions, they are connected to a dashboard only. So we need to add the data to the dashboard. I will go to my local extensions, grab the show me more extension, get started, say, okay, what data do I want? I want my data sheet. I want to build a Sankey diagram. And let's say from category to region to segment, and show sales as a measure. I hit apply and I'm already done. This is a fully interactive Sankey diagram in 20-30 seconds. So we can extend it a little bit. So we have all kinds of formatting here. We can also add a dashboard action. So I want to do a dashboard action on my, let's say, sales bar chart. Whenever I click on one of the activities and whenever I deselect, it will show all values again. I also want to enable my legend. So we have insights in what the colors means. Let's put it at the top. 2 rows, that's fine. And maybe do some formatting, so a little bit more spacing. Let's do it like this. No, this it's not needed. Okay, maybe the link capacity a bit lower. Great, so we can change the colors very easily. And we can change also how the dimensions are colored, like this. Well, ready, hit OK. And now we have our Sankey already. And as you can see, it's fully interactive. Only took me 1 minute, and I think this really shows the power of the extensions API and the possibilities of adding extensions to your dashboard and all the new features which are part of it. So that was the demo. So let's go back to my presentation. So why should I use the extensions, and why should I use the extensions API? I think the demo just showed it, but if we look at Tableau as a toolbox, this is Tableau in its current state. It has a lot of cool tools like a hammer, a screwdriver, some other tools, a saw maybe, all kinds of tools to create visuals. But sometimes you need something special, like a special tool which is not in this toolbox. And that's where Tableau APIs are coming across the corner. You have this amazing drawer, and every drawer has different expert tools which you can use to modify your Tableau to do anything you like, and to, mostly I think that your creativity is the limitation in this part. So basically you can do anything you like. And that's amazing of APIs, and in this case, the extensions API. So where do I find these awesome extensions? Tableau has an extensions gallery. You can find it at the extensionsgallery.tableau.com. And there are a lot of extensions in this gallery already. There are extensions from all kinds of different companies which are building extensions exclusively, or from companies which have a cool solution and integrate it with Tableau through an extension. And since Tableau 2020.1, you can also use the built-in gallery in your Tableau dashboard or Tableau desktop. So I will show it right here. So whenever you drag the extension element in your dashboard, and it will pop up and it will show you all the extensions in the extensions API. And from there, you can just select any of the extensions you like. You can select a local extension from your computer, but you can also select any of the extensions which are part of the gallery. You click it and it's in your dashboard, and you can start adding value to your dashboard. So very easy. There are also filters, as you can see in the inline gallery. So you can do whatever you like. So, and what I would like to show you is one of the newest extensions in the gallery. It's called Easy Designs, and it's built by one of my colleagues. And I think this is an amazing extension for most of you building dashboards and want to make beautiful dashboards. So let's have a look at Easy Designs. So we have a dashboard here. It's called Twilight. And as you can see, it's loading up. So let's give it a second to load up. And it has a lot of customization in terms of coloring. So this dashboard has is pretty much customized to the enterprise identity, the corporate identity of this company, which is dark blue. And if you want to do things like this in Tableau, you can use Figma, for example. But then it takes a lot of time, because every time you want to create such a nice background and you want to change it, you have to update it, create a new image, put it in the background of your dashboard, and then position the visuals again. But with this extension, you can easily do this all in your dashboard. So whenever I click on one of those background elements, as you can see, those are all extensions. And when I double click them, it will open up the extensions configuration. And from here, it's becoming magic, because all these boxes you can see behind the visuals are all connected to each other through the synchronized layout parameter. And whenever I are going to change one of the layouts of these backgrounds, all the backgrounds in my dashboard and also in my whole workbook are going to update. So for example, if I want to do something like this, more gradient, maybe make this one a little bit darker like that. And I want to change the border radius, so it's becoming more round, as you can see. I maybe even also want to add a light shadow at the left here. So it's getting a light and dark shadow, so it pops out more. And well, what else do we want to do? I think we're ready. So whenever I hit apply, you see that it will update all of my backgrounds in my dashboard. They're all updated. And basically I'm done. So nothing I need to do. I do not need to replace images. I do not need to export stuff. It's done. And the great part is that I can save this preset. So if I like it, I can just save it. It will be exported as a file. I can save it on my server and everyone can use it in their dashboards. So amazing way of improving the corporate identity of your dashboards, make it easier to work with layouts in Tableau, and give you just extra possibilities in creating beautiful dashboards. So this is called Easy Designs. I think a nice demo to show the possibilities of the API. Not in terms of visuals, but this is in terms of design. So another possibility. So what does an extension look like? If you, for example, download it from that Tableau gallery, that extensions gallery, it looks like this. This is a .txt file, and that's the extensions thing, the name of an extension, .txt. And inside this txt file is a link to your to the environment where the extension is hosted. Because extensions are little web applications, mostly JavaScript, and some HTML, of course, but they are mostly like little web applications. And whenever you put a dashboard in your an extension in your dashboard, it will load that information from that server, just a little bit of JavaScript mostly, and then it loads up and becomes part of your dashboard. So whenever you open one of these txt files, you see this. And I think the most important part here to have a look at is the highlighted part, which is the URL. And this is the location where the extension is hosted. So also if you want to see, okay, who is hosting this extension, where is it coming from? This is the place where it's coming from. So the URL here is extensions.apps4tableau.com. It's just an example, but now you know, okay, it's from apps4tableau.com. I can probably trust that extension. It's not from some unknown domain or something. Well, okay. And there are different ways of extensions and how they are hosted. And one of those ways is that extensions are running in the cloud. And there are actually two different ways. One is if, for example, if I host the extension and I give the T-Rex to you, that would be called a cloud extension. But there's also the possibility that Tableau is hosting the extensions, and they have a special hosting environment, and that's super secure. They secured everything down, and those extensions are called sandboxed extensions. So these extensions are basically hosted by Tableau and trusted by Tableau extensions. You can find them all in the gallery. There's a little checkbox on how to filter and where to find the sandboxed and non-sandboxed versions. But those are like extensions hosted somewhere on the internet, cloud/sandboxed. There's also the possibility to run extensions on premise. So that means that you are going to host that extension as a little web application in your own infrastructure. So basically you can say, okay, I want it behind my firewall. It doesn't have any access to the internet, so I can securely use it in my Tableau dashboards. I can also see the code. I can see what it is doing, what it's not doing, stuff like that. So you have full control. I think when I look at apps for Tableau, most of the extensions, like a lot of the extensions, are hosted like this. So companies have the on-premise version, so they have the full control over the organization's infrastructure, where it's running, etc. But yeah, cloud extensions are also perfectly fine. They're also very secure. But if you want another layer of security, this is how you can do it. So I have some tips for you for using extensions in a secure way. And it's all open doors. It's all easy to understand, but I think the most important part is to trust the extensions developer and to make sure that you know who is developing those extensions, that it is being updated, that it is being maintained and managed. If there's any leakage or something, or a package maybe, which is old, that it's getting updated, that extension is working with all versions of Tableau, also newer versions, stuff like that. So that's, I think, the most important, to trust that person building that extension. You can always use on-premise hosted extensions for extra security. You can use the sandbox extensions by Tableau, as I just said. And whenever you put an extension in your dashboard, you will get this pop-up. And this is only for desktop. It's also on server, but for desktop, it's most important. And in this pop-up, you will always see who has created the extension, what is the URL of the extension, so what am I going to put in my dashboard, and then you can hit allow. Yes, so one thing which is important to make sure everything is HTTPS, but since Tableau is also requiring this to even run the extensions, this is not an issue anymore. And whenever you go on Tableau server, you can whitelist extensions. It's right here. So if you go to your Tableau server, you go to settings, there's a little tab called extensions. And at the bottom, there's a part called enable specific extensions. And there you can whitelist certain extensions on your Tableau server. So if developers are using extensions, you can whitelist them here. So they can also be used on your Tableau server. Yeah, so I think this is great. And there's also a checkbox to change the default behavior. So you can, for example, disable the usage of unknown extension on your Tableau server if you want. So then only whitelisted extensions can be used. All right, so I think it's time for another demo. There was a lot of theory. And this is going to be, I think, my little baby, one of the extensions I'm really proud of, I can say, and which really changes the behavior of Tableau. And this is called process mining for Tableau. And for people who have not heard of the term process mining before, basically process mining works by extracting knowledge from event logs. So event logs, which are available in today's information systems like a CRM or e-commerce software package. And if you have that information, that log information, you can build visuals with it. And well, I will show you how that can look and what the possibilities are if you have that information. So let's head over to Tableau, right here, and have a look at that data. So this is data coming from a sales system. It's a purchasing example. And in my example, there is a case, which is like the order, for example. And that order is going through a few steps like this. So it's a purchase requisition, a create request, some stuff, choose best option, deliver goods, then the release purchase order, send an invoice, and the last step is to pay the invoice. But if you have one of those cases and you want to visualize it in Tableau, okay, you can do it with a Gantt chart or maybe some other charts, and you can see how it like goes through all the steps. But whenever you see, like if someone goes from step B to step C, but then goes back to step B, it already becomes a bit harder to see. You can see it like, for example, this one, analyze request. It's apparently case 2 is going to analyze request 3 times, 1 time here, 1 time there, and 1 time here. And maybe, yeah, well, so it is possible to see it, but whenever I remove this filter, the case ID filter, and I get like 9,000 of these like actions, it's not readable anymore, and I can't really make anything out of this anymore. So in that part, process mining comes in place, and this is a way to visualize this information in a very nice way. So let's have a look in our demo dashboard. Load the extension and have a look at that case number 2 and how it looks if you have a look at it from a process mining view. So we already knew that it was going from analyze request to something else and then back. And as you can see, that loop is very good visible right here. So first it goes here, then it goes through this loop, then it goes here, and it goes all the way down. And there's nothing special about this order. It's just a straight line, so perfectly fine. And I'm now looking at how many times it's going through certain steps. But I can also look at the duration, which means how many times did this activity or this case spend in a certain activity. And also, how many times did it take to go from an activity to another one? So how long was there no activity between 2 activities, basically? So what was the waiting time? And as you can see, it took 35 hours to deliver the goods services. And then there was 8 hours of nothing in our event log. And then someone hit the release purchase order, which only took 1 minute. Then there was 10 hours of nothing, and then etc., etc. So this is only one case. But if I remove the filter, you will see that I can now have a look at those 608 cases, and I can see how they behave in my process map. So, and remember, this is all Tableau. We're just using Tableau here, and I think that's mind-blowing that we can do these kind of things in Tableau. I don't have to leave the product. It's all here right in my hands. And things like this are like, for example, I want to know, okay, there are a few cases going to the analyze purchase requisition. Let's click it, and I can see which cases are here. So I can, it's actually filtered in Tableau, and I can do analytics on it, and I can maybe do actions on it, follow it up, stuff like that. But there are also other cool things. So whenever I hit a button, let's click it. So let's reset the view. I can also see how those cases are flowing through my process map. So as you can see, this is a real-time 5-minute length animation of all my cases going through my process map. And you can easily identify where bottlenecks are, so where they are like clogging together, how they are moving, which is going fast, which is going slow, and the size of the bubbles is showing how quickly they go or how many times it takes to go from A to B, for example. Yeah, and it's a great way to visually understand how your systems are being worked with, and where you can maybe optimize it by looking at the durations and the waiting times and stuff. So yeah, this is, I think, a great extension and a great example on how to embed extensions API really deep in your processes and enrich your Tableau dashboards. So if you're curious on how to work with those extensions APIs, and you think, okay, I have an idea, I can program a little bit, maybe I want to build that extension myself, which is, I want to build an extension I'm thinking of, I don't know, maybe you have a cool idea. There is a cool place to go to, which is the tableau.github.io, and there's /extensions API. And here you can find all information on how to get started. There's a great reference on the API. You can find all the features you can use. There are some examples, there are the release notes, of course. There are also UX design guidelines. So if you build an extension, it will give you some guidelines on where you should look at, how it should behave, maybe stuff like that. And Tableau has also built a package called Tableau UI, which you can use to create beautiful extensions with beautiful interfaces. So there's a lot already for you to play with. So some tips to get started. You can sign up for the Tableau developer program at tableau.com/developer. If you're going to use, you're going to build an extension, I would never start with a framework. And what I would suggest you to do is grab one of those examples, modify it a little bit, see what happens, like a hello world example, maybe that's also easy to do. And of course, have the page of the documentation open all the time. And if you want to create a beautiful extension, you can use Tableau UI, which is amazing. So that was in a really short notice my presentation. I would like to show you way more during Q&A and also in one of the breakout rooms. But for now, I want to thank you very much for listening. If you're interested in the extensions I just showed you or any other extensions, go to the extensions gallery or go to apps4tableau.infotopics.com, grab a free trial and go wild with extensions in your Tableau dashboard. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Merlyn, so much for that awesome presentation. I was blown away by all that cool stuff you were doing. And my gosh, what a big savings in time and energy. That was probably at least as mind-blowing as your chess game, although it was certainly impressive. So we're going to open the floor up to questions. Kobe, have you received any questions from our audience?
I have not. I see a lot of chat about being it's way cool and it's awesome. Don't see any particular questions, but does anybody have anything?
Yeah, so let's do this. Why don't you just pose your question directly to Merlyn by coming off mute and just saying what's on your mind. Anybody want to go first?
Yeah, there actually is a question here. It says, I think I missed the programming language you used to build the extension.
Yes, it's so that's a good question. If you want to build extensions, you need basic knowledge of JavaScript. So it's JavaScript, HTML, and CSS for the makeup, basically, so the layout of the extension.
Okay. Then there's another question, is any data being transferred to the server hosting the API?
Any data being transferred? No. And well, it depends, of course. If you have an extension which requires that, like there are some extensions requiring it, then yes. But if you look at super tables, for example, that extension is running at the computer of the client. There's no data going back. Show me more, also no data going back to the servers. And it's 99% of the extensions don't have any data at the servers. If you look at the write-back extension or write-back extensions, they require some data, but that's on the server of the write-back extension. So that's something you install your own, basically. But the normal extension, like the super tables, also the process mining extension, the export val extension, stuff like that, require no internet access actually. So no data is being moved back.
Merlyn, David Koken here. Great presentation. Really blew my mind with some of those. I've been around long enough to remember when extensions came into be, but those were awesome. The
Thanks.
Easy Designs extension, does that work with either just floating objects, or does it work with the containers as well?
Containers and floating objects, but it needs to be floating in some way, yes. And just we are talking with Tableau development to see if we can attach the visualization to the extension. So whenever you move the extension, the visualization moves with it. So that prevents you from the floating part, basically. Yes, so updates on that are coming. Currently, you needed to have it floating.
Thank you.
Now, here's a good question. If I use the extension to build something like a Sankey and I give the TWBX, the Tableau work, the portable, into someone else, do they also need the extension to see the view?
Okay, yeah. The extension will become part of your Tableau workbook. So it will embed in the workbook, and you can just send the workbook to your other analysts, other builders, developers, and it will be automatically included. So yes, it will be part of that workbook. So you don't need to give it to them. It's just part of the workbook, just like an image, basically.
And then what if it's a package workbook that?
Then yes, it's part of the XML actually. So the TWB and TWBX, it's part of the XML.
Here's one. Are there any open source APIs that you can recommend?
Well, a lot, but it depends what you want to do. Yeah, so what do you want to do? And maybe I can recommend you something. And I also see a question about what skill is required to learn this. Well, you can start really easy. You can start with a Hello World extension, which shows a button to export something, for example, which is, yeah, you need some programming. You need some programming language to do the basics. It's like if you are building a Tableau dashboard, you need to be, then Tableau Associate is like the basic to be able to build a dashboard. I think this is the same. You need to have some kind of JavaScript associate learning.
And I have one. If you whitelist the extension, does the extension pop-up still come up when you start it?
No.
Okay.
So
that eliminates the pop-up. Okay.
Yes. So correct. So whenever you whitelist an extension, you get the option to hide the pop-up, so you can get rid of it. And then it will become a seamlessly extension. It will become part of the dashboard, and you will not even notice that it's an extension.
There's also a question here from David about the cost and the pricing for these, that they come from you.
When they come from me, okay, you can find a lot of pricing on our website, appsfortableau.com. It's completely transparent.
Here's another good one. So for extensions like super tables, which needs a worksheet as a source, would it work with context filters and other security filters?
Yes, definitely.
So for that one, I would suggest the breakout room that we're going to show. You can, we're going to show some examples of the picture this, and you'll see how the filtering works and you know, how cool that is. So we're going to do that in one of the breakout rooms here in a minute.
Great.
Hey, Merlyn, I have a question here. It's Ben Schenk. I'm sure a lot of people here are thinking about using these extensions, especially ones like the Sankey in their enterprise Tableau environments. So in something like Tableau Online or Tableau Server, are there any kind of security things to think about in terms of accessing access that the extension requires?
No, so you have the full freedom to use the on-premise version of the extension, and the only thing you need to do is whitelist the extension. There's no other thing you need to do. If you whitelist the extension, it will work perfectly in your Tableau environment.
Okay. Thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, in Tableau Online, can you use them in Tableau Online?
Yes.
Is there anything extra to think about there? So let's just say like an organization had like HIPAA requirements or some kind of data security. Is there any risk involved with an organization having the extensions? Do they need to look carefully at which extensions they're deploying on those environments?
Well, the answer to look carefully at extensions, of course, is yes. If I speak for my own company, we are deploying extensions at one of the largest Tableau companies, Tableau user companies in the world. They all use them on Tableau Online or Tableau Server, and there's no issue or no security risk because the extensions are not connected to the internet. Our extensions are not connected to the internet. If you use the on-premise version, so there's no data going out, never.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So you can use them on Tableau Online and Tableau Server, and also Tableau Public. There are a few extensions that are also working on Tableau Public.
Awesome, thank you.
Here's one. Does adding the extensions to the server whitelist allow the Explorer can publish access to it and building a dashboard?
Yes, yes. So with Tableau Web Edit, you can also create dashboards with extensions. It's part of Tableau Web Edit. Yes.
So are you saying you can do that instead of writing custom JavaScript? Or
No, you can use extensions. So just like how you add an extension to the dashboard in Tableau Desktop, you can also do that on Tableau Web Edit.
Okay.
Yeah, it has the same functionality.
Then there's
any
a
programming
follow-up.
languages that would be an alternative to JavaScript?
An alternative to JavaScript? Yeah, of course. As long as it's a programming language, you can do whatever you like. So maybe you would like to use a JavaScript framework like React or Vue, which is some kind of JavaScript. You can also use that. If you want to do it in Python with a web package, you can also do that. As long as it's being served through the internet, basically.
Okay, it looks like one last, and it's just like on-premise install. Can you explain that a little bit more?
On-premise? Yes. So like this. So basically, what this means is that you get the application, for example, if we talk about Show Me More, you get the Show Me More application as a package, and you host it on one of your own Linux or Windows machines in your own environment. So in that case, it will become showmemore.mycompany.com, for example. And from the outside, you cannot access that extension, and the extension also cannot go outside. So there's no internet connection going outside because you can block it. So basically, if I talk for us, we just distribute the files you need to host. So to create your own little web server, which is running that extension.
Okay, that looks like the questions I see.
Great. Well, I can give more demos if you like in the breakout rooms.
Yeah, so yeah, like I say, in the breakout room that we're going to do, we're going to show the picture as our company designs women's footwear. So, you know, the images of the shoes are really important. So with their, their extension, the picture it's really pretty awesome stuff. So we'll show that in just a minute.
All right, sounds good.
Homer, I think you're on mute.
Very good. That was some of the best Q&A I've heard in a while. Lots of great questions there. Really appreciate, the thoughtfulness and the depth of the intellectual curiosity in our audience. Always impressive. I'm going to paste a link in the chat box, which is going to take you to a very short 3-question survey, and we're going to pause here for just a few minutes so everybody can fill out that survey and just give us your feedback about our presenter and the topic, and also what you'd like to see more of in the future. More presentations that are, really exploring some of the finer nuances of Tableau or a wide variety of topics. That's all we're asking.